5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello, wherever you are in the world. As I always say, one of those will apply to you. A very good evening. Welcome along to LTID TV. It is the review show. How good does it feel to have a review show about a league game where we can actually get excited and talk about a win? Don't know how long this will last. I'm hoping most of the season, but you never know. You never know. And as a certain Mr. Keegan once said,
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Sheffield Wednesday came. They put up a damn good fight, not going to lie, but they couldn't do it. Anyway, thank you very much. Hi, Prashant. How are you doing? If you are in the chat, please do join in. Let us see your comments. They will come up in the bottom corner, as you can see there. Hi, Blue Fox. How are you? We will see. You will see them come up. Please do join in. If you are watching on catch up, I'm not excited. I can't even get my words out. If you're watching on catch up, add your comments in the description below. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you for lending me your ears. Leicester City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Hopefully Brad's back from the toilet. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he is. But let's get on and let's talk Leicester. Somebody said to me, why don't I change Jamie Vardy on that thing? But Jamie Vardy is Mr. Leicester, isn't he? I think so. I think Brad, he may have got stuck on the toilet. Let us know your thoughts on the game. Look, they made it difficult for us, Sheffield United. Not going to deny that. Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday.
I was just about to say as I returned, no they didn't. They lost 4-1.
Well, I'm not excited. I can't get my words out.
I was going to say, not even 4 minutes to our first season review and you get the team wrong. God, I can't get the staff these days.
You should have heard what I got wrong while you were on the toilet.
Well, I mean, that's for your doctor to look at if you're getting stuff wrong whilst I'm on the toilet.
Well, what can I say? Brad, what a feeling it is. Come on, here we are. First game of the season. Everything that's gone on in the postseason, managers not going and staying and maybe coming, maybe going, maybe getting Gary O'Neill. Thank God we didn't. Players leaving. At the moment, doesn't look like anybody's coming in. PSR hanging over us. And yet the team go out there and do it for us.
Yeah, kind of the response you need. I think with everything that's going on off the field, you just wanted we're in this period, Chris, where we don't know if it could be next week, it could be October, it could be February, we don't know when. But
Yeah.
assuming we're going to get some answer before the season ends, we just want to get as many points as possible on the board. So we realistically, whether it's 4 points, 6 points, 9 points, whatever people want to throw out as an estimation, which is exactly what it is right now, we're ahead of the game. That's what you want to do. You know, that's kind of what Sheffield United did. I know they only had 4 points, but they knew theirs at the start, so they were in that boat. But yeah, it was a good start. And to be honest with you, Chris, we said this on the post-match. It's probably why me and you went a bit low with our prediction scores compared to some people who went a bit eccentric on us. You know, with this result, people will go, oh, brilliant, Sheffield Wednesday. They only had 3 players available and we only beat them 2-1. Well, these had nothing to lose. This was the biggest banana skin in my eyes of the championship weekend, purely because, you know, Wrexham, Birmingham, maybe not so much Birmingham because they've got a bit of experience in championship, but definitely Southampton, Wrexham. I think we were one of the biggest banana skins of the opening weekend because you're playing a team that, yes, you could say has got experience in this division, but is in such turmoil. They literally had everything to gain and literally nothing to lose by playing Leicester. Purely because, Chris, given our squad on paper as well and our recent history, you lose 6-0 to them. Well, okay, no big deal. You expected to. Leicester are always going to bat you. It's Leicester and you're Sheffield Wednesday. You're turmoil. You lose 2-1, it's a great thing for them. They kind of take, you know, they take solace in defeat, if you will.
And it nearly wasn't a defeat. Who knows? And we'll come on to obviously the game itself. But maybe if they'd kept 10 players on the pitch, we may not have got that second goal. But look, people have been building Leicester City up. You know, they've been saying like, well, they've got the strongest squad and, you know, they're going to go straight back up. I mean, some of the bookies have got us going up in second. In fairness, nobody's actually got us winning it. But like you say, you know, in our prediction league, we had people going 5 and 6-0. And, you know, I'm going to say 2 words to you, Brad. Hull City.
Yep, the exact 2 words I used on the preview on this channel. Go and check that out to confirm his evidence. And on the corresponding channel in question that we did that with on the Wednesday channel, I mentioned the Hull City game. Now, for those of you that are thinking, Hull City, what the fuck are you on about? When that happened, it was a season after the 5,000-1 Premier League title was achieved. We played Hull City. Now, it wasn't financial, but they had injuries upon injuries. Their squad was depleted. I think they ended up just being able to have 11 first-team players fit for that game.
I don't think they'd got a manager, had they, either?
I don't know if Steve Bruce was potentially either in charge or maybe not. You could have been right.
Or it was only just appointed or something.
Yeah. It's basically a bit like Rude for the West Ham and Brighton game in his tenure had zero effect on how we actually did things.
Yeah.
And Chris, we didn't win that game, did we?
We didn't.
No.
We did. No.
And granted, you could say a little bit that was at Hull, so it was, you know, it was a bit easier for them. But their fans, you know, first of all, credit to our fans as well as theirs for applauding them for their protests. That was brilliant to see. United in football, as we should be as fans. But their fans, because we were nervous while the longer it went 0-0, Chris, they outsang 20,000+ Leicester fans for the majority of that match until it wore on.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to go into it, Chris, with a bit more detail and that. But you could see the ill effects of no pre-season in Leicester's turning point in the game. I think that needs to be thought of when we play the likes of Preston and Charlton over the next few weeks, and obviously Huddersfield and the Carabao Cup. But you're expecting big changes for that anyway. If else for fitness reasons.
I mean, if Cifuentes is half the manager that I believe he is, he would have been saying to his players, get ready for the onslaught. They are going to come at us with all guns blazing, and we've just got to get through that first. And I think for the first 10 minutes, they were all over us.
Yeah, but and in a weird way, and again, I don't want to feel like I almost do feel like I'm picking on Sheffield Wednesday, but I don't want to pick anything. For all the possession and control that they probably had in that first 30, 35 minutes of the first half, I still don't remember Salarchik making a save of much note. Straight at him, a P-roller. That one that he tipped onto the post is already early contender for me for one of the saves of the season.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of...
It was literally fingertips, wasn't it? You had to look at it in slow motion at a certain angle to confirm that he had.
And Chris, come in quickly. I've got some breaking news for you. This has never been revealed on LTD TV before. But as a former goalkeeper...
No.
Yes, I know.
No. You jest with me.
I know. I hid this truth for so long. But as a former goalkeeper, you know, people might think, oh, what? It's hit the fabric of his glove. That hasn't really done much. Trust me, this part of the finger that it's hit has gone like that and then propelled the ball to go that way. It is pivotal, that touch. And that's why you hear the commentators praise a goalkeeper getting the faintest of touch on it, because you would not believe the difference it makes. And again, like I said, breaking news, LTD TV, former goalkeeper speaks truth. That faintest touches prevents the ball from going like that and in and sends it off in that offwards direction. That's the whole point of a fingertip save. And apart from that, though, Chris, he couldn't do anything about the goal. We'll obviously talk a bit about that. I haven't overanalyzed that at all. But my point is, it's not like last season where we were going, oh, fuck me, can't believe it's only 1-0. They've had 37 shots, 17 on target, and Madsen, bless him. Yeah, I know he's gone or going to West Ham, but last season...
He has gone.
He has gone. But last season, we're like, Jesus Christ, how are we only 1-0? I came into that half, Chris, and I know we're probably going to talk about the booing at certain stages of the game because there's two incidents to bring up. But I was thinking, if that's 0-0, I don't think the fans, and there wasn't many of them, granted, but I don't think there's fans booing that at half-time, considering everything. When you look at it as a whole, I don't think fans are booing 0-0. So it shows you how people's perspective of a half of football goes when you come in 1-0 down instead of 0-0.
I think I was surprised at the booing because I actually looked at that first half, and you know, we did the sort of post-match reaction straight after the watch-along. And, you know, everybody was saying, like, well, it wasn't very good in the first half. Comparing it to last season, I don't think that first half was bad at all. You know, we actually went at them. You know, I mean, looking down here, you know, after 5 minutes, Thomas had a good shot.
Canoes had a shot. For, you know, we had our chances, Chris, like you said.
Yeah, AU had a free kick taken. Canoes was close from an AU corner.
Bent one round the post, didn't he?
Yeah, we were winning the ball back quickly. We were pressing. They'd got 5 at the back. And, you know, we're not going to win games 5-6-0. We didn't when we were under Enzo. You know, you've got to accept that we are, along with Ipswich and Southampton, 3 of the clubs that have come. There's 3 clubs that have come down and probably favourites to reasonably go back up. Teams are going to come to it, you know, at us, and we are still the most, you know, the team that's not in the Premier League that has most recently won trophies, as in that big silver thing behind me and the FA Cup. So, you know, people are going to go for us, and Sheffield Wednesday wanted not to go out and concede early. Because I think if they had conceded early, then we might have seen a quick score. But the best form, I've always said, the best form of defence is attack. And they came at us right from the start. I mean, you know, within the first minute, they got a free kick. Within the first 2 minutes, they got the first corner. Within the first 3 minutes, they'd had 2 corners. I mean, it was not a bad start for them at all. But overall, I think if it had been 0-0 at half-time, very good point you made. I don't think we would have seen booing. But then again, I think fans were looking at it and going, Oh God, here we go again. Because this was Marty's first league game as such in charge. But we're going to have to be patient and break teams down. And like you said, in that second half, there was only one team, and that was probably down to fitness.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely played a part in it. And you're right, Chris, what you said about the first half. And I don't know really why fans didn't really expect anything less from Sheffield Wednesday. I made the comment on the post-match where with a lot of heads were being nodded and agreeing with me. You've had no pre-season. The only thing you've been able to do is train on a training ground. And you know what people always say? There's nothing better than a match to get you up to match fitness, match sharpness, match preparation. Yeah. You know, they've had a manager that's been swanning it at home, not turn up for work, and then kind of, I guess I'll come back then, being says Leicester don't want me and so don't want me. Oh, actually, fuck off, I'm going home. You know, you've got players that don't know if they can be bothered to be there with everything that's going on. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, like, why should they turn up for work for 2 months and barely get paid or get paid late? You know, no other place would you take that. So why would you take it regardless of what the wage is? You know, they were going to go 60 minutes hard as nails at Leicester. And with the idea of doing as much damage to Leicester as they could, get a lead if they could, which they did. All right, it only lasted 50-something minutes because that's when, and I'm going to say it now because I've got to say it on the last stream, Chris. That's when, not Vestergaard, that's when Leicestergaard got the equaliser. But they were hoping, in an ideal world, 60 minutes on the clock, 2-0 up. We can still at least, tiring legs, come away with a 2-2 draw and be very happy. And I think that was their plan. Because you look at any team, Chris, the reason in pre-season, and Leicester, I know, did that extravagant 180-minute game against Le Havre, but the majority of pre-season is 45 minutes for one 11, 45 minutes for another. Sheffield Wednesday played their first 90-minute competitive game since the end of last season, Chris, and they had 15 players.
Yes.
You cannot. I don't know why fans were expecting, like you said, them just to go, okay, we're just going to lie here and die while you go and score 7.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, as Armchair Jockey said there, trouble is we went into this game with high expectation with what's happened to Wednesday. More fool us. 100%.
Yeah, it was. And I think to a point, a little bit, and I'm not saying it was, you know, Mike Bassett standards, but I think there might have been a few words from, you know, Marty. And just to say, I do like the fact that they're trying to use the Vardy party thing with him, Marty Party. I did like that. Saw it on Twitter earlier. But I think he might have gone, lads, wake up. Because you're doing plan A at 20 miles per hour in a 70 zone. What are we doing? And obviously, again, you can say the lack of preparation with Sheffield helped that. But you saw the difference in our pace and turnover, or speed of the way we went about things in that second half. It was almost like Marty went, you played the plan right, you just did it in slow motion. Can we step it up a bit, please, guys? And I felt like that was maybe what he said to them at half time. And obviously, I haven't had time to do my tactic board, but go for the remaining 45 games that if I'm available, Chris will have the proper board ready for me. I don't know if you've noticed, I am in my flat.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did indeed. Yes.
Little caveat wall there and a nice little sofa. So yeah, but I have got it all available ready. It's in the other room. I haven't had a chance to get it out, but
that's fine.
We will at the end. I will make a little note about a certain player who gets criticised a lot. If Chris,
I thought you might. I do have a graphic ready for that. But look, as we talk through the game, and I've just sort of moved the things around so you can see it. Wayne, hi Wayne. Brad versus Blackwell is back. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Can't wait. I can't wait to hear him give up Jordan Ayew a 3 and I'll kick off.
No, I can't wait for him to give Samari a 1 on you. And you say that's too many. But anyway, we'll come to that. We will come to that. Look, this was the starting lineup. Got a bit confused because the Mercury went with a 4-3-3 and everybody else, Sky, BBC, went with a 4-2-3-1. What were your thoughts when you saw that team come up?
I was happy with it, and I was also a little bit surprised. I hadn't seen much of Vestergaard over the pre-season. Again, I'm not much of an advocate for the pre-season games. I've been busy and everything, so I haven't really had a chance to do it. Otherwise, you just see my ugly mug more. I'm just testing the camera, by the way. I will be back on. I'm just seeing why it lagged my end. I'm just seeing if it's catching. But I wasn't too disheartened by that. There is a little bit of annoyance with the fact that we've made Ricardo the captain and he's already injured, but that's a different thing. There is one player that I'm not happy with, and he was substituted at half time. Minus that though, Chris, it was a fairly sturdy lineup, and I know it was kind of teased a little bit on the post-match, but Redemption Arc FC, Coley's boots are obviously approved by Marty because he got a start, and it's something I love to see. Like you said with FaZe, who will get later on in the show, and some others on there, got a lot of stick beforehand. You have to do every season as it is for the club. You have to refresh your mind and give them a go. Because as long as they wear the Leicester colours and their badge that they look at and put on every Saturday, Friday, whatever day it is they play, says Leicester City Football Club on it, back them to the hills.
Yes. No, I
would say that lineup was a 8.5 out of 10, Chris.
Well, yes. I mean, going to it, I always thought Stolarczyk, if Mads had still been here, I would have still wanted Stolarczyk to start. I do think he is the better keeper, to be honest with you. Controversial, I know, but I think he's better than Mads. I don't want to go through the whole season with no number 2, though. I know we've got Bekovic, but to me, he's the number 3. And, if Stolarczyk was to get injured, and he probably might not even play tomorrow night, it might be Bekovic anyway. But the QPR fan wasn't singing his praises about the time he was with Marty. In fact, said he made a few mistakes. I wouldn't, if Stolarczyk got an ACL or something, I wouldn't want Bekovic as our goalkeeper moving forward, for the whole season.
Yeah.
But as a coach coming in for helping Bowser, helping Stolarczyk, I'd like him to see him get the job at the end of the season as goalkeeper coach, to be honest with you. Look, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Justin at right back. And I said exactly the same as you, mate, here. Our captain hasn't even played the first game yet, or the first game hadn't even been announced and he was injured. What the bloody hell are we doing? We are paying this guy, is it 80 grand a week or something? And it's ridiculous.
It's got to be close to that. And look, I get that naturally, if you look at the longevity of players that have been at this club over the years, okay, that is the natural choice for captain. And when he has been fit and when he has played, he is normally a standout player. I'm going to shock you here, Chris. Or I'm like, no, actually, am I going to swap you? Am I going to shock you? Maybe not. Captains, traditionally at Leicester, I'm going to name you a couple here, literally a couple. Matt Elliott and Steve Walsh were captains. Matt Elliott was vice-captain to Steve Walsh, but when Steve Walsh was forced out of the club by a certain potato peeler, Matt Elliott was the captain, and I believe he was also our captain when we was down in the Nationwide Division 1. Yeah, it used to be Nationwide. Division 1. I would have Vestergaard as the captain, and I'd have Luke Thomas as a vice captain. I know, Chris. I can see by the face. Hear me out. Experience. He's the anchor centre back, not anchor centre back. He sat behind the entire team, just in front of Stolarczyk. When everybody presses forward, he can command, he can advise. He's got a Coley next to him, which we assume is going to be, for basing off the first game, and rumours of the other centre-back potentially still leaving us. A Coley's going to be his main centre-back partner. Thomas is the young lad who's Leicester born and bred, has come through the academy and is raising young. So he's got a young squad next to him. He is the championship equivalent of Premier League Wes Morgan. He commands that area. He has the experience. He's in his mid-30s. And if for the next season or two, I want somebody... I'm not on that strong stuff, Chris.
No, I'm going to say, what am I drinking here? It's only cider.
I know. I knew you'd have this reaction, but tell me, Chris, would you want Ayew as captain? I don't think you really would.
No, okay, let me come back to you then, because he would have been one of my choices.
See?
Not Vestergaard, Ayew.
Don't lie. Don't
What were you saying? Experienced?
Well, I mean, he's up there. He's got to be in the talking point if I'm using that. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't like, and this won't surprise you because I've said this many times, and I know, everybody was saying about Casper, what a leader and all this. I do not like goalkeepers as captains. I don't like defenders as captains, and I don't like strikers as captains. I like midfielders as captains because if something goes on at the top end of the pitch, right, Ayew's taken out, only the goalkeeper now can go. Only the captain can go up and speak to the referee. The Vestergaard, look, he's not the fastest. By the time he's trotted up and had a word with the referee,
it'd be full time.
They've got the ball down the other end and probably scored a goal. I have to say but I can understand why it was Justin. Let me say that. First of all, I can understand why it was Justin. Personally, if he was available, I'd probably have Wink. Again, experienced, etc., etc. But coming back to this, Justin on the right. There, I said it. Didn't have a bad game. Can't believe I said that. But I couldn't believe he was starting on the right. I mean, what the f*** has Koulibaly got to do to get... I mean, he wasn't even on the subs. And can I just say, it is 80,000 a week that Pierre is on. Let's be honest with you, he's the trouble with the NHS, why they're so far behind, because he spends so long at the Royal. But I don't know what Koulibaly's got to do to get on. He wasn't even on the bench today. He surely is leaving, in which case we need another right back. And did Chowdhury do anything bad on against Fiorentina? I thought he had a damn good game.
I think the problem is it's easier for a manager, especially
to get over your Vestergaard comment.
I think, first of all, I just wonder, as much as I am with you on the point of if you're giving a Coley a second lease of life, how has Koulibaly not earned it? I'm going to say one player name to you, Chris, and I think you'll understand. What if Desperado brought in the one player who was allowed to, idiot aficionado, as we're going to call Ruud van Nistelrooy, and he is the equivalent of Fusente Diabate? What if that's what we signed because we just needed a player? If Justin got croaked for 4 months, we need a right back. And the problem is, whilst I agree, I don't think Chowdhury's got anything done anything wrong, and I'd be more than happy seeing Chowdhury there. In fact, I know during our last championship crusade, Chris, that when Chowdhury was playing right back, a lot of fans were very happy with that. They were happy to see the team.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes, especially for the first game of the season, a manager safeguards. He goes, you can play there, and I know you can play 2-3 positions. I'm going to put my wing back there, though, just to make sure. And again, Chris, maybe it's because we're in the Championship, not the Premier League anymore. Justin had a better game than I've seen over the last 38 games. Granted, that's not hard to improve on, but maybe where we can argue is Koulibaly, was he really a cheap but still a panic buy? You know what I mean, Chris?
That is a very good point, and one I probably hadn't really considered. Maybe he wasn't the player that Ruud wanted. Maybe he was just the one we could afford. Ruud never played him, so that maybe says something. But we didn't trust Ruud's judgment. I trust Marty's judgment more. And maybe he's seen something. Maybe he is our new Tete. In the fact that he came on, we thought, he's all right, isn't he? And then we never see him again. Diabate, like you say, played against Peterborough. We thought we'd got the new Mahrez. Never saw him that again. So yes, that is a very, very good point. I want to come to the midfield because I know that we, last season, Skip started some games, not many. Wink started some games till he fell out with Ruud. Interesting that Wink's been linked with a move away abroad. I mean, for God's sake, he can't even, travel up from London, can he? So how's he going to get abroad? And I wanted to see them play a full 90 minutes together. And they did against Cologne. And I never want to see them play a full 90 minutes together again. They just didn't work. It's like people used to say Lampard and Gerrard. Two great players couldn't play together. I am so surprised. This is a couple of games now we started with Skip and Samore. Maybe it's something I'm missing. Sometimes they say, and maybe wingers can only play second half because that's when he arrives at the ground. You know what I mean? Maybe if we play a London club like Charlton or something, he'll actually be there early because it's a shorter journey. But I'm just wondering, have you heard the saying, like, well, he did what he had to do. He didn't do anything special, but these players, they did what they needed to do and had a decent game without being outstanding. Was that Skip and Samari, though?
Yeah, realistically, that in a crowd of 6s and 7s and 8s, they were definitely the 5s. But the performances, and I know we'll go into the ratings afterwards, and that's a little hint as well. I'm going with them, but for me, I'm just I wasn't enamoured with them. You could argue that for 30 minutes of that 90, Sheffield Wednesday were prime Leicester last season, one touch for them to our 40, which was like Leicester last season. Again, the whole pre-season, that could go for it. They also weren't really needed. We'll get into it, Chris, near the end of when I talk about it, but there was a change in Leicester's dynamic that also stopped Wednesday being able to go through the middle with such ease. When they changed their shape, when they kind of got themselves back to parity and subs were made and we went to a 2 up front.
Hold that thought. Did you ever think you would ever say that about Leicester?
No, and that's what makes that, something I said yesterday even more pragmatic. This guy doesn't seem to just have a plan A and a plan B. He has a plan A for this scenario, a plan B for this scenario, plan C for this scenario, and it seems in every area, every department from defence, midfield, and attack, if this isn't working, I'm going to move them around and do this. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to move these players here and this guy here, and I'm going to say, you do this, as managers give all the little...
Have we got a manager here?
With a brain? Yes.
Well, yes, basically, because, and I know, I forget who it was that said, it was Dave that said Winks sort of changed the game when he came on. Now, I think he did to a point, but when he brought when did Winks come on? How many minutes was it?
It was half-time sub.
He was a half-time sub, yeah.
He brought Skip off. And...
Of course he was. Have we got a manager that looked at the situation and went, they're tiring?
Yeah,
they are. If I can bring Winks on, who's really good at moving, getting forward, that's. I mean, I just can't believe, but we might have a manager that knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we could say that about a manager, Chris, and it's refreshing. I think you're exactly right. Like I said, had we came in at half-time at 0-0, then let's say there still even was a few discontent murmurs and boos going around because we weren't 37-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday. I think the manager would have gone, okay, yeah, not ideal that we're not winning the game. That would have been a bonus, but you did what I needed to do. You ran them ragged. You drag them through it. They're going to tire now. They're gutted that they didn't come in 2-0 up. They're gutted it's 0-0 or give a realistic perspective. They're gutted that they didn't get 2 goals.
They could have done very easily, couldn't they, as well? Yeah,
they could have, but that's what Marty would have said to the players. Going, okay, we need to step it up a bit, but they will be spent because they are human beings. No matter how much pride and adrenaline, how much adrenaline they're picking up from their support and they're just natural adrenaline for the occasion, they are going to physically tire. They are going to not react to things as quick as they did in that first half. We are going to have our chances. And if we play to our fullest potential that I've seen that we can do, like the Fiorentina game, for the prime example, we play anything close to that, we will get the outcome that we deserve. And in the end, Chris, despite what you could say about the first 45 minutes, in the end, only one team genuinely did deserve to win that game. Based off your love child, Stats FC, it was Leicester City. And that was what it became, Chris. It was a very dominant second half display.
It was. Prashant says, wondering if the lads got a hairdryer treatment during half time. At 1-0 down, and when I said to you, and you burst out laughing, when I said, would we have come back and won that if Wood was manager? But I think we were unlucky to go behind, and we will go behind quite a few times, I'm sure, this season. I don't think he needed to really give them that much of a hairdryer, right? You say it was just a sensible talk of they will tire, keep at it, guys. It will be different half-time talk against Preston, I'm sure. But that midfield, I don't know if Skip and Samari are my two for that. Interestingly, on the next row, one of the wingers was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. One of them, not so. If you're the one, and I think everybody will know which way we're going with this, Fatawu, I think, was in a class on his own. He was going past 2 and 3 players, and they were trying to put I think if they could, they'd have put 10 outfield players on him, and they'd have probably still got through them. Mavididi, not so much. Now, if you're Marty, you should be saying to Mavididi, look at what your teammates doing on the other side. That's what you need to be doing.
Yeah, and again, it can be a little bit difficult, and it's not to forego what he did. Because he did have a few good moments in that game, especially one that made the highlight reel. Funny enough, where Stelarczyk distributed the ball quickly, and then I think it was Canusa or whoever ran with it for about 40, 50 yards and played him through. It is a bit difficult though, because Fatu was so good, and he was so scary and causing them so many problems on that right hand side that if you wanted to give it a fair assessment, Chris, it was probably, I would go as far as to say 80-20. Fatawu was getting the ball over Mavididi, which is probably why, Chris, and again, I will go into it a little bit more at the end, near the end of the show, when we talk about the formation and changes and whatnot. But that's probably why Mavididi ended up being maybe told by Marty, right, come central. We've got them so pinned in on that right-hand side that if you come central, you're actually going to be more in an advantageous position for us to create chances or get a touch off the ball. To a degree, in that sense, Chris, going back to what I said, I don't think it was his fault that he had a bad game. I think at times, because we were so successful down that right-hand side in creating chances, he was a little starved of opportunities. But I think we still have that little Mardi Mavididi in him. I think we still have that Mavididi that when things aren't going his way, he's a little bit like, ugh, well, it's not my day. I can't bother this. You know, it's like, I think sometimes...
Interestingly, as you say that, when I look at Sheffield Wednesday, they have 38% of their attack sides, 38 on the left, 38% on the right. So pretty evenly spread. Leicester, 27% down the middle, 28% down Mavadidi's side. I know he wasn't in there the whole game. 45% down Fataru's side. I mean, when they made subs and they put somebody else on Fataru, he couldn't get near him either.
Yeah, exactly. And that just tells you where Leicester's area of strength is. And to a degree, Chris, it has always been Leicester have a preferred strength down the right-hand side. We had Fatawu last time in the Championship, Fatawu this game on its own, and before him, the man you actually mentioned who we thought we'd got the next of in Diabate, we had Mahrez. And I know we had Barnes, but I think people used to say Barnes blew hot and cold, and you'd either feel like it was 10 men with Barnes or you felt like you had 2 of him because he was that good. I don't think it was necessarily that Barnes was having a bad game or Mavididi in this case having a bad game. I think it's more that Leicester have just had a favourable player, a starlight, if you will, that has predominantly played on the right side. I feel like it wouldn't matter if Fatu was left-footed and did what he did on the left side and Mavididi went on the right. I just think percentages would swap, Chris. I don't think all of a sudden we're going, Mavadidi's the best player since sliced bread. I think we'd still be sat here going, Mavididi didn't get much of the game. He didn't really get his flair going because we'd have been going down the left because of the difference in quality between our wingers. And unfortunately, Chris, that's the same throughout. Any team that plays as wingers is going to have one that's slightly better than the other.
I'm going to throw this at you because we're going to do a lot of stats today, and you can't deny it. You were quoting stats at the weekend, so do not say you don't like stats.
No, you just threw stats and it hit me in the head. Oh,
talking about Thomas and Vestergaard and sides, and they were the kind of the defence on the left-hand side. Do you know how many shots Sheffield Wednesday had from the right side? Just a percentage.
I feel like a lot of them were more central. It depends if the graphics...
They were. I mean, in fairness, they were for both us and Sheffield Wednesday.
I would
say... How many shots they have?
I'm going to say about 15%. I don't think it was many at all. I think they were shut out.
Well, we're talking about Mavididi on that side. You're talking about Samare. You're talking about Thomas. And we're talking about Vestergaard. The percentage of shots that Sheffield Wednesday had down their right side, our left side. Are you ready for this?
Go on.
0%.
I thought it might be one of them red herring questions that you like to throw out. That's why I did go. I did go 15%, but I wasn't surprised because I was trying to think in my head. I was thinking they might have had 1 or 2, but I don't remember them if they did. So I'm going to say 15, and then you go and say no. It was nothing.
Not one shot. So and I'm going to say, I didn't like Justin on the right. He did okay on the right in this game. Vestergaard did all right. Thomas, look, the facts speak for themselves. But going back to the team, and I've got to say, with a bit of pride here, that I said pre-season, in fact, I said at the end of last season, Ayew could well be our starting striker. And I said, because get the ball up to him. He can hold that ball up. And you've got the likes of Fatawu, El Kanous, Mavididi, Makatir Munga, running up. and he can play it off to them, and they can go and do their magic. And look, the front four there. I just think, looking at that, I've got to say, well done to Marty. He got it spot on for me. And he's not going to please every Leicester fan every week 100%. But, hindsight, looking back at the game and the result, that was a pretty damn good team.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm 100%. And I think people are going to quickly have to realise that, yes, he has the number 9 shirt. And I think it was Tom that said it. But he is not going to be the Jamie Vardy number 9. He's actually probably going to more represent Okazaki.
Can I just say, that totally pisses me off. And I was seeing people saying, why, when they announced the numbers, I mean, I was hoping number 3 would be retired, but then again, I've had plenty of humble pie today. But it's a number, for God's sake. It's a shirt number. It wasn't retired, therefore somebody else is going to get it. Would you sooner have had Daka as number 9, everybody?
Yeah. Again, I think we hold too much, not pristine, what's the word I'm thinking of? We hold too much to what a number actually means and represents, when realistically, it is just a number. I know players have a particular number, and you could say, oh, well, Alan Shearer, he was never going to give up number 9. Well, actually, I believe at Southampton and Blackburn, he was like number 10. He wasn't a number 9 before he got it. Players claim a shirt as their own. That is a tradition. But in regards of the role, in the 90s, they meant something. You had your numbers that meant, well, this guy's a winger because he's got the number 12 shirt or whatever, and number 5 and 3. Well,
if they didn't have the same shirt number all season, whoever was at left back would probably have number 5. I mean, sorry. That was how it was done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it's like, come on, guys, get real. It's only a shirt number. If it was retired, then that, in his memory, fine. But it wasn't. Like I say, would you have preferred Jake Evans to have it? Would you have preferred Daka to have it? Would you have preferred to be our number?
Don't you swear at us and say Jacoba Reed. Don't swear. He is the Ryan Bertrand to this era, and we can't even make him sound a different nationality because he's not English. You thought he was French. This guy is Jamaican.
Can I just say, actually, that is very, very interesting. I'm glad you just made that point, because I don't know if anybody's been on the LCFC website and looked at the team information, but Ricardo's back in training, apparently, everybody.
Yes, he trained today.
Now, I just want to have a look at this because
Jacoba Reed came back from an international that I don't think anyone, even the training staff, knew who was on. He was with Jamaica through the summer.
They probably thought, who the hell's this that's just turned up? I hate this Leicester City website. I really hate it. Who was it? Thomas Aluko, El Canoes. I think it could have been El Canoes. Yes! Let me ask you, Mr. Brad.
Okay, Mr. Chris.
You know your football.
I profess.
If I was to say to you, for £1 million, what is the nationality of Bilal El Canoes?
Yeah.
What would your answer be?
Moroccan.
Now, good answer. If only I had £1 million to give you. No. According to the Leicester City website, Bilal El Canoes is Belgium.
In which parallel universe? Because he's fucking Moroccan.
I thought that, and as I was doing my artwork, because you know me, I don't waste my afternoons. But I was doing my artwork, and I thought, hey. Now, I had to actually go and double check on Wikipedia that he was. I mean, for God's sake, Leicester City, if you don't know your own bloody players, I just thought I'd bring that up. I just thought I would bring that up.
Oh, good, because you nearly gave me. In fact, that's just gave me flashbacks to when Harry Redknapp couldn't figure out why Wes Morgan hadn't been selected for the English side.
Yeah.
Because he's Jamaican. Although to be fair, if for the gamers out there, if you go back to FIFA, I think it might have been FIFA 12 or something like that. Whenever he was first at Leicester, Wes Morgan's nationality on his card showed as English. So maybe Harry Redknapp just thought he was English from that. I don't know if it's because he maybe hadn't represented Jamaica at the time, but yeah, it's a bit like, why does he play for Belgium? Chris, just mind. Oh, you've got me on a tangent now, Chris. Do you remember that bloke who phoned up and asked why Anthony Amy couldn't play for Scottish? And the bloke told him he was Finnish. And he went, no, he's not Finnish. He can still play. He went, no, his nationality is from Finland. There's a bit of TalkSport trivia for you, if you remember that one.
Yeah, I don't, to be honest with you. But there's also the guy that said Matt Elliott could be good enough to play for England. I said, well, he played for Scotland a month ago.
Yeah.
But that's fair enough, because Matt Elliott, you would, I mean, it was still a grandmother or something, but bloody hell, El Canoes, come on, get it right, guys, on that. Anyway, these are the substitutes. Daka, Faze, McAteer, Monga, Winks. I have to say, I have never known for a long time a Leicester City manager make the right substitutions at the right time as Seffield Wednesday did.
Yeah, he played it perfectly. And again, Chris, some of them substitutions he made weren't just like for like. There was a shift and a change in how we went about playing the game. And I was very happy with the substitutions from start to finish, Chris. There wasn't a substitution that felt like it was made for the sake of, this is the last time I'm allowed to make a substitution, so hell with it, I'm making it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm looking here. I mean, there's a couple of them that I would at the time have said, really, like a Coley and Faze, but we'll come on to that later. And there was one where I think a defender went off when Daka came on. Who did Daka replace? Daka replaced Justin. So obviously we'd gone to a different sort of formation. My God, hang on, a manager who actually tries different formations in the game. Bloody hell, Matt. Am I living on a parallel universe here, Brad?
Well, we must be, Chris, because I think we were all caught surprised. I mean, when I saw Daka coming on, I was so brain rotted to how Leicester do things. I was like, well, here comes number 9. And then when I saw it was Justin, I was like, okay, Seffield Wednesday, I'm listening. And I feel, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
What's this plan? And it worked a treat. And again, that's a player I want to talk about a bit, because I feel he's one of them that's been so unsuccessful as a player of Leicester City. He didn't get the credit he actually deserved for what he actually did in that second half. In returns to Daka and how it changed. It also changed, Chris, not just Daka, but it also changed how Ayew was then used in terms of being more expressive down the wing and creating more spaces.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're all saying, at pre-season, I know he was trying different things. I know he wasn't there all the time. But remember we had those 4 games, or 4 lots of 45 minutes, and City Wenters apparently was in the building, as Elvis would say. So he was obviously pulling the strings and saying what he would like to have seen, and Andy King was doing it. So his influence was there even at that point. I've said so many times in those pre-season games, I rediscovered that there was 2 halves to a pitch. And, because that season, if one of our players went over the halfway line, it was like, oh shit, what am I doing up here? I've got to go back. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm just getting so excited about this year. But look, let's get into stats attack.
Yeah.
I know you. No, don't you say that. You quoted stats at me on Saturday, so you're going to have to do it. Look, anybody who says we weren't dominant, 75% possession, and I know possession isn't the be-all and end-all, but that does kind of show the control we had in this game.
And some would argue possession is 9/10 of the law. So
Yeah. But I think that shows certainly more in the second half. But I think and you've got to take the match as a full 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for everybody who's in the chat. I had to kick a dickhead out. That to me that shows, like I say, how in control we were over the 90 minutes. Look, 2.42 as an XG. WTF?
Yeah, I think you joked, didn't you, that we didn't manage that as a combined XG as Rude was manager. Yeah. So it was refreshing to see, Chris.
Yes.
It was in the end. Leicester probably put up the facts and figures to back the performance the pundits and fans were expecting. The only thing that maybe didn't reflect that was the scoreline not being a bit more of a comfortable situation. But it, like I said, Chris, in all fairness, that they did their job. They controlled the game. They controlled the tempo. It was almost ironic and typical Leicester that Sheffield took the lead in the game. But as that aside, I feel Leicester played the situation, and that's key, Chris. It would have been easy to have gone out there and ran through Sheffield and got a big win. But I think Cifuentes wanted to play it not with caution, but he wanted to play it with a bit of respect and say, you know what, no, let's give these respect. They've got nothing to lose. Let's play the situation. The easiest way to win this game is play on their fitness strengths. And that was what became adamant throughout because of the tiredness of that. And again, you mentioned it yesterday, Chris. I think at one point it was 40 plus touches of the ball to their one. That told you at that point of the game. I think we were only 60 odd minutes into the game. What Leicester's plan was all along, and that was to really grind Sheffield Wednesday down.
Yeah,
it almost reminded me, Chris, of, sorry to drag on a bit, but it kind of reminded me the way Sheffield Wednesday went at us. It reminded me of Ipswich's opening game in the Premier League when they played Liverpool. They went all guns blazing against Liverpool for 45 minutes, were blowing smoke out of their rear end, and then eventually Liverpool turned a corner.
I think they went 1-0 up, didn't they, as well, Ipswich?
Exactly. It matched. It pretty much was symmetrical to this one, Chris. The Apple was upset. Then they came in at half time, and I think they even beat them 2-1 in the end. But you could see that, in that game, Ipswich gave it all for 45 and then ran out of steam. For different reasons, it was the same for Sheffield United yesterday.
Sheffield United?
I'm doing your mistake, mate. I mean, to be fair, though, if Sheffield Wednesday are to take any solace from this weekend, and it's not just their own performance against Leicester, if you was to tell them after game week 1, with everything that's going on, they were still going to be ahead of their arch rivals. Definitely would have taken.
What was one of the things I moaned about last year?
Oh, fuck me, how long you got?
Well, I'll tell you to narrow it down. It was having shots, taking shots, and, we would come out of the game with having taken one shot, none on target. And I'm saying this isn't good enough for a Premier League club. 27 shots. 49.9% of those, 13 were on target. That, again, in the second... I know we're taking shots from long way out, but at least they're shots, and you don't know, sometimes they hit somebody's arse and go in. If just remember Cambiasso scoring against Man United. He only did that because one of the players, Dean Hammond, tried to have a shot from outside the box and it cannoned to him. Touches in the opposition box as well. I mean, oh my God. I mean, I don't know where that one's gone. I haven't got that one. Where is it? No, I haven't got that one. But let me say, we had 34 touches in their box. 14 they had on us. You was talking about Stolarczyk. 2 saves he had to make.
Yeah.
2 saves. And look, let's just have a look at this. Shots, like you say there, 27 to Leicester, 7 to Sheffield Wednesday. Attempts out of the box, 17. Shots off target, 9. They had 7, right? They hit the woodwork, I grant you. Expected XG, 2.42 from open play, 1.4. I mean, looking at that, if you hadn't seen the game and you remember what Leicester were like last season, you think Leicester were in black there.
You really would have. You'd have thought, yeah, this fucking Chris, he's copied and pasted last season. Stats are lazy fucker, but no, it's a great change.
Look at the passes as well. And I know towards the end when it was 1-1 and we were trying to go forward, there was boos ringing out if we played a backward pass.
Which I hated, by the way.
Yes. I mean, for God's sake, we're moving forward. There's no options. What you're supposed to do with it? You play it either to the left, to the side of you, or backwards. It didn't go back to Stolarczyk. It went back. It went, backwards, and maybe changed to the other side of the pitch. So why were they booing that? Because it was still part of the forward move. Accurate passes, 431. They had 99. Backward passes, 70. Now, I'm sorry, 70 backwards compared to 151 forward. I mean,
last season, Chris, we'd have made 70 backward passes in the first 4 minutes.
Yes. 9 tackles. I mean, we didn't have to. I mean, that, I think, and Stolarczyk only had to make 2 saves. That was because, Sheffield Wednesday, look, 25 tackles they had to make. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I'm just going to use these figures every single week, to be honest with you, because they are so good. I wanted to, we mentioned booing there, and I want to bring up this guy. And I know you want to talk about another guy, but I'll let you do that in your section. But I want to talk about this guy. Mr. Wout. He is from Belgium, by the way. He's not Moroccan.
No, he's Greek, isn't he?
Well, check on the Leicester website. You never know. I feel like it's one of those things where they're going to say, spot the deliberate mistake, and you can win a prize. Look, my thoughts on this guy. But I did say that at kickoff at 4:30 yesterday afternoon, that everybody starts with a clean slate.
Yeah.
There's nobody there will start with anything to do with last season because they're all going to, it could be different than us if you entered. I'm not a fan of booing per se, but I understand if you're going to boo and we've lost 5-0, boo at the end of the game. They booed at half time, which I think is stupid. They booed when this guy came on, and they did a close-up of him, and he was smiling, which I probably felt he had to. When he scored, he did the obvious like that, and then he walked off at the end. Why not walk off at the end? I would have done if that's the reception I'd got.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely warranted, and at the end of the day, I don't think Mark Face has ever been one to really go out with the fans. I mean, I remember when it got close to the title and things under Enzo, all the players were there, and that's different. But, that sort of situation, I don't think everybody wants to be enamoured with the fans. At the end of the day, Chris, I'm going to bring up a name that still sends shivers down my spine, right? But Iosi Perez.
I didn't think it was going to be him. I thought we were going to hear the CC word.
No, not quite yet. No, but Iose Perez was a player that some people seem to have a soft spot for, but the majority of us weren't enamoured by him. And I know a lot of people, yourself included, made the case that he wasn't playing in his position that he preferred was because he's shit. That's why he couldn't play it. But every time he was on that team, whether I was filled with dread inside or not, whether I was happy with it or not, shock horror, more times than not, I wasn't happy seeing him on the 11. But I've always said this, Chris, whether they start, whether they come on as a substitute, whilst they wear that shirt with the Leicester badge on it and they play committed to us, I want them to prove me wrong in a way, Chris. I'm more than happy for Wout Faes, who is not the most admirable figure in Leicester, right? But the thing is, Chris, I think he is what Chilwell became to Leicester fans, and he is the scapegoat. Because did Wout Faes get us relegated? Or did the 25 other players that played that season throughout get us relegated? Because if you're going to hold such a disdain for one player, then why didn't you boo Skip? Why didn't you boo Samare? Why didn't you boo Thomas? Why didn't you boo Jakob, who played the last few games?
Why wasn't Vestergaard booed when his name was called out before the game?
Exactly.
Last season he was awful. And I will say this, last season he was the worst of a bad bunch, and that's saying something. But that was last season. We've got a new manager. We're in a different division. And look, Winks, useless last season in the Premier League. Absolutely brilliant the season before in the Championship. That might be Wout's level, He was certainly not the worst player on that pitch. And my God, I'm surprised how his head stayed on his neck. I don't know after that header. It was a bullet header. He ran to make the space. Nobody went with him. When he has a bad game, like anybody other player, I will name him, But I wanted to name him today because he'd had a bloody good game, not just because he scored the goal. He didn't do anything catastrophic at the back. And all right, you could argue that, well, it was Sheffield Wednesday. Look at their attacking stats. They weren't there. But like I say, for those that, you've got to give these guys a clean slate. And I think this guy took it, and I do not blame him at all for going off at the end.
No, I don't. And to further strengthen that point, Chris, right, I was actually having this discussion with my dad earlier when he was helping me get all my new stuff in here, right? We were kind of talking about players that get a bit of stick and aren't, fan favourites. And I said, the thing is, right, you have a player like Faes who's linked away every window since we flipping signed him. I think, we signed him in that turmoil season when we went down, and he was linked with a move away summer, winter, every other week he's linked with a move to Lazio, wherever, right? Yeah. And I know the contrast in not just in ability, but in one's really liked, one's really hated. We have two players that right now the rumour mill is kind of pumping with gas and oil and whatnot. It's really going strong. Wout Faes and El Canoes. Right? Now, sometimes when a player gets linked or wants away, and I don't hold any malice against him for it, I completely get him protecting himself and the idea of being able to get the move done this summer. But Madsen chose to have surgery over playing 10 games this season. So he could be fit, ready to go, and most likely move on this season, whether it was to West Ham, whether it was to Chelsea, whether it was to Inter Milan, wherever. He wasn't going to stay here. Now, I respect him for that, because at least he put his cards on his table and we knew where we stood with him. I'll take fans back, not to a Leicester player, but back down the history. Dimitar Berbatov was ready, raring to go. Tottenham's new season. New manager, I think they had at the point. He was going to stay at Tottenham. Manchester United started ringing. Oh, I don't want to do this. I can't play this pre-season. I'm injured. wasn't named on the bench, didn't come on if he was named on the bench. The manager couldn't play him or wouldn't play him because he wouldn't get on if he wanted to. I bring you now back to yesterday, 24 hours, well, over 24 hours, forward from the game. Woutface came off the bench. El Canoes played. Did he play all the game, Chris? I don't think he came off, did he? Or did he play?
I don't think he came off.
He played 90 odd minutes. Woutface came on and played 30 odd minutes. Not a single one of them shirked their responsibility. Both could be gone before we played Preston or Charlton, and whether you love them, you hate them, whether you think that much of them or you think that much of them. They did not go on that pitch and be like, I'm not going to make that tackle because I might hurt myself and then I won't get that move that my agents promised me to Leeds or West Ham or Crystal Palace or Lazio, which, the names I'm trying to keep relative of what they've been floating around. No, instead, he scores the winning goal. El Canoes got 2 assists, and El Canoes is giving the fans that, and go on, get behind us, and he's given the right attitude. At the end of the day, put respect on that player's name.
Yeah.
I might not have ever liked Perez. I might have thought it was a waste of 30 million and never liked him. But never, ever, if I went to a game or watched the game, deep down internally, it hurt me. But if he came on or he was on the starting lineup, Chris, I was like, come on, Perez, prove me wrong.
Yeah. I'm going to move on now because I'm just looking at the time and we've got to keep this under 2 hours.
You set me off on one day, Chris.
I did. Right. You haven't got your tactic board, but I'm going to leave you a chance because I know you want to talk about different things. So I'm going to give you centre stage here. No, I'm not. I'm going to give...
I've got centre stage. Right, tactics. I'm going to keep this a little bit brief because it's the first game of the season. It was very difficult to judge on one game. Let's get most of me on here. You don't want to see the rest of me. The rest of me is a disaster to look at. It's bad enough I have to stare at my face. But tactically, where did Cifuentes separate himself from managers gone? And I'm not just talking Rude, Cooper, or even Seal, Clapper, as Chris would call him. I'm going back even probably as further than Martin O'Neill, who many profess to be one of our greatest managers of all time. Did not move away from boring Leicester 4-4-2, may I add. Where did Cifuentes make the difference and where did that win the game for Leicester? Unfortunately, like I said, he's packed away at the moment. I haven't had a chance to unpack it, but I'd love to show you on the tactic board. That will be back hopefully by next weekend. But bear with me as I try and explain it verbally as best I can. What happened was, first of all, he made the sub Winks for Skip. And that's not just because I don't like Skip or I don't rate Skip. At the end of the day, stand by what I say with if he plays, I want him to do well. But Skip is a bit eccentric. He wants to get around, he wants to get on the ball everywhere, but that left gaps in the middle. And that's where Sheffield Wednesday were able to initiate the point, to get the ball forward, to get into our half, and then they could spread the play if they wanted to or push the ball through the middle, which eventually, in that spell of pressure they had, even though we kind of rid the wave a little bit and thought we got away with it, they eventually got their goal from it because they were able to carve through the middle. What Winks brought us, first of all, and this was the big change, Winks gives you that ability to kind of have somebody who's right on the centre spot, not going to really move from it. He's not going to go too far forward. He's not going to sit too far deep, but he's got no effect for us in midfield. He gets the ball and he could almost do that because he knows them two are running. That guy's running that side of me. That guy's running that side of me. I'm going to turn on a sixpence, pass to the feet. Pass in front. I know who I'm passing to, how they want the pass, and where that pass needs to go before I've even finished turning with the ball. That was the first big change. Again, okay, doesn't take a genius to work that out. Why is that so impressive, man? Cifuentes realised where Sheffield Wednesday were getting all their joy from, and that instantly locked that off. So where was the next big change? Well, Leicester had a bit of not a slice of fortune, but they probably got themselves level in a way that, you know, as early as they were expecting. They were probably expecting at least another 15, 20 minutes of a sustained Wednesday pressure that they'd have to ride away before they got through and got the equaliser. What happened was you saw set pieces. Yes, I know. Leicester have scored probably one corner in about 10,000 years, it feels like. We've been that terrible at set pieces, but we scored from 2 on Sunday. And it wasn't just your typical floating in the box and hope for the best sort of moments. No, what you saw, first of all, I'll take you back to the first half, the chance that Vestergaard should have really scored as a centre-back. We put it over to the back post. Now, it was at such a height that the goalkeeper couldn't come out and claim it. And it was it dropped to such a degree, and that was purposely planned, the dropping, because we did it a few times when we put it straight into the box, where as long as we had someone like a Coley or a Vestergaard, they were always going to win the header to nod it across the box. One of my favourite memories of Leicester, one of my early memories of Leicester as well, Chris will remember this goal, Arsenal 3, Leicester 3, the equalising goal for Steve Walsh. Pryor had the ball, dropped onto him like a 6-point, headed it across the goal, Walsh powered in, bedlam. That didn't quite happen with Vestergaard. He messed up his header, but you could see the indications of that was something they'd worked on in training. And if you haven't seen any of the pre-season, you may have thought that El Canu scuffed his free kick to get us the equaliser that came in the second half. No, that has been worked on. Teams are so worried about a ball going into the danger area, marking Justins and your out, you know, and your RUs and your Winkses and your Skips, that they're not expecting the centre half that's just lollygagging around, not really in an attacking area, to be on that inside, because naturally you're thinking, well, he's put a ball in, he's going to put it in near that penalty spot back post area. There's no way he's going to drill it across goal, and that's exactly what Leicester have worked on. They've noticed it as almost an ingrained thing into teams that Seffield Wednesday went, why don't we just drill it across the box? Most teams from 35 yards aren't putting a 4-man wall out, especially when it's on the angle. So all you've got to do is drill it round him, which is what El Canouse did to a T. He did it perfectly, to be honest with you. It was a perfect ball in. And you're going to get it in the box. And then whether it's Vestergaard, whether it's Coley, whether it's Winks, it doesn't matter who. Somebody's going to be in that area to take it on. There was just little things that maybe people didn't really think much of or see in a big light that really told you that Cifuentes could read the game and adapt to any situation. And these may have been predetermined and planned. But another thing was the corners were changed up. They weren't mundane. It wasn't ball into the box. And it wasn't like we had 17 corners and they all went back post and eventually they went, right, let's stick 2 guys in a Coley or whatever. It happened. And the last thing, Chris, and I realise I've had a bit of a tangent there, but the formation change, Chris. We went to a 3-5-2 and it completely changed the dynamic of how we saw IU. He exploded into the game in an attacking sense in the second half with that change. And Daka was cruelly denied by a guy who we've been linked with since that performance. So that's his audition. I'm just saying. The one time Daka hits on target and he's going in the corner, of course the keeper saves it. But that was another big change that unlocked the defence, because he realised if we shut up shop in the midfield and get 3 more bodies in that centre and stretch Sheffield Wednesday, we're gonna get that controlled period that we saw us have, where for 15, 20 minutes it is literally us bombarding our door. Sorry, I had to explain it in a bit more detail and not be able to show you on the board. I hope you understood that, but that was really the little niche things that you may have missed in the game, or maybe not thought too much of, that really led to Leicester's victory against Sheffield Wednesday.
Thank you very much. Oh, you've gone. It was great. It was great to see the corners actually getting past the first man, and it was actually nice to see the the corners being, changed about a bit. Let's just have a look. I'm just having a look because there's some winner in transfer race between Leicester, Swansea and QPR for Richard Kone emerges. Richard Kone set to join QPR. Oh dear, I am surprised. But they have had a good transfer window this summer. Interesting. Right, sir. And I'm sorry to insist on this. I do need you on camera because I like to see your reactions to these points here. I do. It's Jordan versus Brad with a bit of Chris involved as well. So it is the player ratings. So here we go.
Yes, for Brett, yeah.
We're gonna do the starting 11 because it seemed like a good place to start. We're gonna start with look at all these. You've got all the new artwork for the new season.
I know, right? Check you out.
Hey, like I said, I don't waste my afternoons. Still art chick. Like I say, we can keep this sort of reasonably on point. But he got a 7 from Jordan. His fingertip save to deny Chabola early on was superb, and he was left helpless when the midfielders' deflected strike beat him. Had very little to do beyond that. 7.
I feel dizzy, Chris. I feel we've entered another universe because I'm agreeing with Jordan. He made that one save. There was nothing he could do about the goal, and he didn't have much else to do. I'm going to give him a 7. Oh, God.
7. I've actually gone one higher. I've gone 8. Yes, he didn't have much to do, but when he was called upon, he did it. And that's for me. I know I'm not in the goalkeepers union like you are, but to me, what was that when he threw it out? Was it to Mavadidi to get a quick breakaway?
Yes.
Thank you, Blue Fox. Yeah, Fassant's gone 7. Get your votes in the thing, but no. So I've gone 8 for him because to me, it's not just about the saves; it's about his distribution. We didn't have one thing at the weekend where our goalkeeper kicked the ball out to a player, and it went to one of the opposition players and conceded a goal. So that never happened. So he gets 8 from me. Mr. Justin. He came inside well to pick up good positions in attacking areas, but he didn't always know what to do when the ball came his way. A bit too ambitious with his forward passes at times as well. 6.
I feel like Justin was one of the biggest beneficiaries from a tiring Sheffield Wednesday because they predominantly went down the middle for their attacks. So he wasn't really challenged too much defensively. I wasn't really enamoured with his passing. And when he came off, if he was going to tell me any of the defenders were going to come off, I wouldn't have been too bothered if it was him that came off. I'm actually going to give him a 5.
Oof. Wow. But yeah, who upset you today?
Justin.
I'm disagreeing with you again. I've actually gone 7. I don't think he had a bad game at all.
Chris, give me the alcohol. Come on, enough now. Enough. Stop.
Look, this is Justin in a position that I absolutely hate him, and yes, I'm giving him a 7 because, again, maybe Marty knows how to use him in that position where, the Dutch wanker didn't. So now I don't think he had a bad game at all, and I think he deserves a 7. Apart from 2 players and the subs, I'm kind of happy with some of these performances. I'm going to let you go first with this one, Coley.
Well, first of all, Redemption FC gets a second season. I was relatively pleased with his performance. Looked assured, got his head on on the situation. Clearly understood the game plan because he that headed chance that he created for Vestergaard in the first half. I don't think he's got that explosion of pace that should we get with a Wout phase or something like that. But I was fairly happy. And if we're allowed to continue it over from how I did this last season, Chris, I'm going to give him a 7.5.
No, we're not. We're going back to round numbers.
Disgusting. What's the world coming to when you can't allow 0.5s? All right, 7 then. All right, 7.
7. I agree with you. 7. At one point, I thought he could have been up for man of the match. I wanted to read Jordan's out last, and you'll understand why in a minute. Here we go. Caleb Okoli. After an excellent game against Fiorentina, Okoli struggled here. He looked uncomfortable on the ball, under pressure, and lost a few 50-50s, including the Shabola goal. But then so did Thomas, and so did Samari as well. He gets 4.
I knew it couldn't last. I knew it was too good to be true. We got what? How many did we get? How many players we done, Chris? How many players?
3.
Yeah.
It
It's really be the fucking magic number before this arse clown goes and forgets what football's all about. Tell me, Chris, did he pass it into his own net?
No.
Did he give Solarchik a short back pass there? Their strikers nicked and score goals.
Not that I remember. Certainly not scoring the goals. No.
Did he pass it to Sheffield Wednesday players more times than a Leicester player?
No.
Okay, so how the fuck have you given him a 4, Jordan?
Hang on, you forgot that he's shagging Jordan's wife, apparently. Allegedly.
Well, he
No,
must.
I mean 4. Come on, that is a joke. How anybody got a 4 in this game?
Yeah. Jordan, grow up, mate.
Vestergaard got an 8 off Jordan. I've given him an 8 as well.
Yeah, look, we said this a few seasons ago, and it might be the same with another centre-back that we've talked about throughout the show a lot. This is his division. This is where his experience and everything comes through. This is why I think he can be some form of leader, if not by band, then at least maybe in the dressing room. I'm very happy to give him an 8 and say, well done, Vestergaard.
Yeah.
Though that is Okoli on the screen, so I didn't know he'd de-aged and changed nationality, and yeah, there you go.
You could have just said, change the picture, Chris.
No.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, look, he nearly got a header. It did go wide. It was probably harder to miss. But I did feel it was a Chloe Kelly against Germany in the Euro sort of goal that he got by poking his foot out. But he scored, and you can't take that away from him. Luke Thomas. He got forward, got a few shots off. He did have the ball nicked away from him in the lead up to Tribola's goal. He gets a 6. I've gone 7.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. I thought it was lively. I think he was assured. Again,
not scared to have a shot, is he?
No, and that's something we need from our wing backs. I think, again, not just in this division, but in the majority of divisions, Chris, you need a team that is willing to take the chances and have a go. And you got that from me. I think it was a 7.
Yeah, no, fair point. Right. We now come to...
Again, this isn't Luke Thomas. I didn't know he'd grown to 6'8" and was Danish.
Oh, fuck off. There we go. Right. I've got so many buttons to press here. I can't keep up. Next up. Oh, God help me. Damare. He let Valerie burst past him for the Tribola strike, which was a moment of poor decision-making. He was barely involved in the first half, but did move the ball better in the second. And I agree with Jordan. We've both gone for a 5.
Yeah, I tend to do this with the centre back parent. I think this will give away where I'm going with his midfield partner in that first half. Nothing really bad, nothing to note that was good. 5.
Yeah. I just think sometimes maybe, Redemption United isn't isn't going to pick him.
Look, everybody needs a water boy, and there he is, all right?
But look, like I say, I'm not going to have too much of a go because at the end of the day, it's the first game after the clean slate. Let's give these players a couple of games to get up and running. Yes. Your favourite, your lover, your love child, Mr. Skip.
All that preaching I did about not hating on a player and not booing a player and all that rigmarole with Perez and Wout Faze. 5, move on. Again, first game of the season, I'm going to give him a 5. Don't ask me to go in depth. Just move on.
No. Well, I've gone 5. I agree with you. Jordan's gone 8. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. Stay. He's gone 5 as well.
I was nearly fighting Blackwell whether he wanted it or not.
Sorry, mate. I couldn't resist that. Couldn't resist it. All right. Moving on. El Canusi.
Chris, what's with the Moroccan badge, mate? He's Belgian, isn't he?
I know. I'm going to say our famous Belgian player. Their tricks and flicks, but nothing with much impact in the first period. But he came to life in the second, delivering great crosses, including for the 2 goals, and looked a class apart. Got an 8 off Jordan. I had to have a think about it. I upped it in the end and went for 8 as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's head and shoulders above this division. You can just see it. He's obviously still rough around the edges and he won't hit his peak in the Premier League for another couple of years. He's only early 20s. But if there's anybody on this team that you want to put under lock and key in the basement and keep him there until September the 1st or September the 2nd, depending on what day the window closes, this is one of them. Loved his passion, loved his determination, and despite all the rumours going around, he didn't falter and put in a constant shift. I'm going to give him, because Chris has banned 0.5s, and so it's all Chris's fault, guys, because he wasn't my man of the match. No, you know what? I am going to do it. I was going to give him a 7, but I feel that would be harsh on him because he was better than a 7. But my man of the match always gets the better rating. But I am going to give him an 8.
An 8. Okay. Mr. Fatawu. And it says man of the match there because, and that's nothing to do with me or the gentleman that's underneath me there. We have Alan, and bless him for doing it again for us. He goes home and away to the matches. He sees things we don't. We don't. We can't see what's going on off the ball. He can. He picks our man of the match and gives the rating for the team and what have you. He chose Fatawu as the man of the match. When he first sent it through, I thought, what? But when I looked at it, indeed, he got a 7 off Jordan. Slow start, but once he got up and running, his pace and touch saw him cause lots of trouble to the Wednesday defenders, won plenty of free kicks and provided little end product himself. Got a 7. Now, I did choose Fatawu as my man of the match, and that has shown in my marks because, okay, I can look at it and go, maybe he didn't score, a fantastic goal. He didn't do, the flick over and score that he did against Fiorentina, but he gave, and his marker was changed when the substitutes that Sheffield Wednesday made, and whoever was on him still had difficulty keeping up with him. Gets a 9 from me.
Yeah, you know what, Chris? I only had a little bit of time to talk on it. That formation change reopened up the doors for him because he was a little bit more inside, which allowed him to get the ball on the inside and then take it outside if he needed to drag them away. I know we said, in a way, it's kind of been a blessing that he wasn't able to play much last season because most people haven't really thought about coming in for him. I know we heard that maybe a team might come in, but I just don't see him going anywhere. I think he's very happy here. I believe we got him on a long contract anyway, so I don't think there's any rush or need or want for him to leave. And I like to use these cliches or expressions, firstly, correctly, and secondly, on players that genuinely deserve it. And if that's his showing after 9 months on the sideline, Chris, in his first competitive game back, I know he played pre-season, but his first proper, legitimate competitive game back in 9 months or more.
Yeah.
I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. He's going to have this division for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Absolutely incredible. He ran himself and Sheffield Wednesday into the ground. 9 months on the sideline and he played like that. It's a 9. It's a 9 performance. A goal and an assist, Chris, and we'd be talking a 10 easily. Yeah. That was phenomenal effort he put in.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to say, sit here, but I am. I'm going to be. I haven't played one yet today, so I am actually going to play this.
That made me laugh. So.
I know, it's so difficult not to look smug at this point.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a loving.
No. Ayew.
Yeah.
7 for me, and I think he had a good game. I think if we get another striker in, he may then become the second string. But he holds that ball up well. He wins us free kicks in good position. He can take a fucking corner that gets past the first man, and he takes not a bad free kick. All right, a couple of them were straight at the goalie, but at least they're on bloody target. I've given him a 7, which is the same as Jordan.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm actually going to give him an 8.
Sorry, did you say you're going to disagree with me?
I did.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and by the amount of fingers that young charming child held up, I'm going to agree with you by 1. I actually thought we got the full Jordan Ayew package.
Yeah.
Last season, even in the most drossest of games, we got exactly what it says on the tin, Mr. Ron Seal. He frustrates teams, he wins your free kicks, he's not too shabby at set piece taking, he does it. But we got the full article of what Jordan Ayew actually brings to a team. He's not going to get you 20 goals a season. He might this season, we don't know. But generally speaking, he doesn't go and get you 20 goals a season, at least not on a regular basis. His career path will tell you that. But what he does, Chris, is he has a deceptive pace to get down the wing. He's stronger than he looks to hold people off and bully them off the ball and keep himself in front of the defence. He plays pinpoint passes into players. He holds the ball up to allow players to run past him and lay the ball into their stride. We saw the complete version of Jordan Ayew on Sunday, and the reason he's getting an 8 is because I gave man of the match to Fatawu, because him, Canoe, and Fatawu were my 3 picks for man of the match, and I lay my hat on Fatawu in the end.
He came close. He came close for me as well, as you know. I'm sorry about this, but Jordan's put these in the wrong order. But Mavididi, 6 from me, 5 from Jordan. He was ineffective in the first period, rarely beating his man. He improved in the second period, went close after the equaliser, but was withdrawn shortly afterwards. I've gone 6. Like I say, Jordan's gone 5, purely because I don't necessarily think he had a particularly bad game. I just think he was shown up by his teammate on the other wing.
Yeah, again, going back to what I said earlier, he was probably more starved of opportunity to show his flair and his ability and what we know he is capable of. And I'm sure throughout the season we will see that side of him. He will get opportunities where Seffield Wednesday wants to switch the style of attack. And we have seen, and we saw a little bit more of it in the second half, his ability to even become an inside forward, Chris. Watch that going forward. Him and Fatu being converted into inside forwards, because we got a glimpse of it yesterday. I am going to have to give him a 6 on the performance, but it's not a 6 that's entirely on him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You take everything into account. Yes, it's a 6, but again, it's not a 6 because he necessarily played bad. It was one side showed.
Right, we're just going to quickly with the substitutes, just literally run through the scores on that. So the first one up, half-time sub, Mr. Winks. Maybe, like I say, he didn't arrive in time for the first half. I don't know. That might be a bit unfair. Got an 8 off Jordan. I gave him a 7.
Yeah, 7.
7 for you as well. Now, redemption here. I'm actually going to change my score here a little bit. Seen him once, seen him twice. About phase, he got a 7 off Jordan. I'd given him a 7, but I'm actually going to go up and I've actually given him an 8 because credit where credit's due. In that box, he was just for the goal because it was so sweet to see movement in the box. He kept his eye on the ball and it was a bullet. I've gone 8. I've gone 8, I think. Yes, I am. I'm going to stick with 8.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm unanimous in that.
Okay. I can't give him an 8 because he wasn't on the pitch long enough. I know he scored the winner. I know he came off of the hate. I am going to give him a 7 though.
7.
I think he deserves a high rate.
Right. Hopefully, Wayne's not still with us and not going to be watching this. Monga got a 7 off Jordan. I gave him a 6, I'm afraid.
He showed glimpses. Definitely showed glimpses. He's 16. He's only going to improve and get better. But yeah, 6.
Yeah. No, I agree with you totally there. McAteer, 6 off Jordan. Gets a 6 off me. Gets a 6 off, sorry. Somebody at the thing.
I thought McAteer was there, just waiting.
He wasn't as impressive as he usually is.
I didn't notice he came on the pitch, Chris. He's a 5 for me.
5 from you. And here we go. Daka got a 6 off Jordan. I've gone 6 as well because, let's be honest with you, I've never seen him head a ball before. I don't think he had a diving header. 6 from me.
I want to give him more, but again, if I'm giving Faze a 7 and avoiding the 8, I can't give him a high-ish mark. Better 6.
Well, that's the thing, yes. He wouldn't normally.
I would say 3-5-2 gives us a better Daka.
Yes.
So watch that space if that's how he's going to be shown.
10.
Don't even have 10.
Finally, yes. 10. Jordan doesn't do 1 for this, but we do. 4. And I've also written down 10 as well. Got everything right. Got the subs right. It was a hot day down there, and if you hadn't made the subs and then said it was too hot, somebody used to do that. But no, 10 you got. Yeah, exactly. I need to get some.
Not to be mistaken for that.
No. Have you got an action for every player here, or what?
Yeah, I might do, Chris. You'll have to find out.
Yeah. No, he got. To be honest with you, I know it's the first day, and we're all sort of, getting excited and getting hard-ons at the thought of this guy as our manager. but I don't think he could have done anything better. I think he was spot on.
And
Looking back at his team selection, making the changes when he did. How often did we see a half-time sub last season?
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, Chris. It sounds silly, and I know people might say, oh, well, he did that for a bit of thing. The nice little touch he did where he walked all around the ground and high-fived. Yeah. And may I just say, Chris, something I actually didn't know until I watched the highlight package. And there's a thing going around on YouTube at the moment. I won't say it's taken off. It's kind of like, it's been a thing that people have done for a bit, but it's kind of got a bit of hype. Old badge versus new badge. Do you know what I loved, Chris? And I don't know who decided it, but I hate that Sheffield Wednesday badge.
Yes, me too. It looks to me like a 7-year-old has entered a school competition to design a new badge and come up with it.
Yeah, and then if it was a 7-year-old that designed it, I think it was really good, and I wouldn't be saying. But do you know what, Chris? Don't know if you actually noticed it. They had the old,
yes,
they had the old out, and I loved that badge because I thought it was simple. It was to the point.
Yeah.
It was a bit like us with the full figure Fox. Although I do like our Fox head. I actually think I always thought we've had a really nice stand-up badge. But I was watching the highlights yesterday, and I went, oh, that's the old Wednesday badge. All they need is Chubb and Chubb sponsoring them again, and we're back.
Indeed. Brad, thank you very much, young man. Great show as always. I do enjoy these shows. It's a watch along tomorrow. Don't know if you're going to be free to come on.
I don't know.
Let me know anyway. Let me know.
Let's play it by ear with that one because it is a Carabao Cup game. I might not be too enamoured with it.
This isn't called airball. This is called football. So I'm not playing it by ear. No. And like the fact that you are Jesus, and I must find that actual thing. You have a light shining there on you. Jesus has come and he's here and all is well with the world. Blue's gone for AU as his man of the match. Like I say, we nearly did. Look, thanks very much. We're going to be back at 9 o'clock with Talking Balls. It's a football show, Jim, but not as you know it. Thanks to everybody that's been in the chat. Really do appreciate it, apart from the pervert that I kicked out. Smash that like, subscribe. You've still got a few minutes to do that. If you're watching it on catch up, add your comments below. Really do appreciate it. And if you want more followers on Twitch, why not go and buy them off the knobhead that's coming off Twitch as well. And if you are listening via your favourite podcast platform, whatever that is, thank you very gladly. Brad, appreciate it, mate. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you at 9 o'clock. I'll see you soon. Take care.
See you nice.
It's good night from me.
It's good night from him.
Yay! Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.